Hi, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. Join me in an interview with Brad Cooper, one of the founders and owners of FrameUpNow.com. FrameUpNow is the premier provider, designer of cold-formed steel building systems. And what we're talking to him about today is what comes in a kit in the way of everything you need to dry in the building. And Brad will walk us through all of those elements. You'll walk out the other side a lot smarter. Hey, stay tuned and enjoy the interview. Hi, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. Welcome to this edition of Fun with Frame Up Now. I'm with Brad Cooper, one of the founders and owners of Frame Up Now, the premier provider of cold-formed steel framing systems for all sorts of buildings. Brad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm enjoying doing this series of different conversations with you that have been illuminating to me, but I'm also excited to have people learn more about the different facets of what in the trade is called CFS, cold formed steel buildings. And that's what you guys have really perfecting and putting out a great product. So let's talk today about something very specific. When
Okay.
somebody buys your product and they get a kitted system, let's look inside what comes in a Frame Up Now steel kit, what you get
Yeah.
and why it works so well. So let's just talk that through. Go ahead.
Well, first off, when you order off a website or wherever, um, you will receive the panels, you'll receive the trusses, you'll receive any of the porch packages, posts, all the trusses for that. And if you order a floor system, you'll get a floor system with it also. That's all the joists included. And then you also get the components for putting those together. That would include all the screws, the connection hardware from the trusses to the walls, and from the walls down to the floor. Um, so we have a direct path of connection down to the foundation. You'd also get the hold downs in that foundation. And then also any strapping that we may require or the engineers may require in addition to um, for the shear strength of the buildings. That should about include all the hardware.
Okay,
That
so let's just hit a couple of definitions really quickly there
okay.
for our viewers. So one was the flooring system. How does a flooring system differ from a foundation, a concrete slab, or something like that? Could you expand on that just a bit?
Sure. Well, if you have a elevated floor system, say you're up on joy or up on piers or a stem wall, we have joists or floor trusses that we build and include with the kit. So that becomes your floor that will be elevated above the grade.
Okay, so
Um,
that would be like where there's a crawl space under the
a
house,
crawl
is what I'm
space.
trying. Is that correct if I got it?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Brad, where else might a flooring system be utilized?
Well, if you in an area that you have basements, that's the main
Mm,
area. We give a good floor joist system between the basement and the house.
right on. Okay, so all that's included. Wow. So it sounds like what you're providing on the framing system is everything you need to go to the next stage of drying in the structure. Have I got that right?
That is correct. The structure will be 100% complete. When you go to dry it in, that's when you start sheeting it on the exterior or the roof. But all of the substructure, all of the framing, trusses, walls, and components are included.
And can Frame Up Now, can you guys generate building components of all sorts of architectural styles, whether it's the Southwestern
Sure.
Territorial or, the cottage styles of the country homes that have got highly pitched roofs, that sort of thing? Is all of that available from you guys?
It is. If we
Okay,
can draw it, basically, we can build it. Basically, if you can build it in wood, we can pretty much build it in steel.
got it. Got it. Now, there was one other term you used that I think is good to define. When you say shear strength on a building,
Mhm.
what do you mean by that?
Well, depending on certain codes, there's shear or lateral. analysis that has to be applied to the walls. They give it so your building doesn't blow over, so your walls won't rack side to side. So when
Ah,
we get near the building, we have X braces made out of steel that are in the walls, and then in addition to that, I myself included, most of the public puts plywood on the exterior or OSB,
right.
uh, which it contributes to the strength of the building.
Got it. So, and I have seen some of those modular components you guys generate. Those X straps are impressive because
They are
once you put those together, that section is going to stay square. It's not going to rack. You're going to end up with whatever it is, a true rectangle of that one or a square section. You're not going to end up with a parallelogram, something where it racks.
correct.
So yeah, these are all of this contribute to a great structure. So
Correct.
so you said they get all the pre-assembled wall panels, trusses, fasteners, hardware. What about somebody now they've done that part,
Mhm.
but what does Frame Up now provide in the way of a bill of materials to go to the next stage, depending
Well,
what they bought from you, whether it was one of your pre-plans, they brought a plan to you. Could you walk us through that briefly?
sure. With all of our plans that you purchase off our website, we have a bill of materials included. Now,
Oh,
that doesn't include the framing package because that's already included. So what this includes is all the components that will complete your home, basically from the wiring in your house, the
okay.
light boxes, the light switches themselves, the plumbing parts that go underneath the floor, through the walls, everything, all the way up through the completion, including siding, including roofing materials. Um, there's
Wow.
and that you can pick what you want, but we give the opportunity for you to pick that, but everything is included in that bill of materials. So you can take that, you can go to your local hardware store or Home Depot and give them that list with the choices that you would like, and they'll basically put it all together for you, and you can have the whole thing drop shipped to your job site.
Wow. So a lot of work has already been done and instead of sitting down laboriously doing what's called a takeoff of the whole thing, trying to
Right.
figure it out, you've really helped people get further faster the whole building process by providing the BOM or the or
Yes,
excuse me,
bill of
the bill
materials.
of materials. So one of the things I see though, the reason why you don't just give a complete one without variations, everybody's got final
Different choice.
choices on things like lighting fixtures, door hardware, plumbing,
That is
you
correct.
know, I like this kind of faucet on my kitchen sink versus that one, all those kind of variable things. But they're called out for them to go make the
They are called out.
choice.
That's right. They just got to make their choice or the selections on the finish details. But everything else to build it is also included. So if you wanted to go shopping to your heart's content on your style, that's something different. But the list is there for you to pick from, but
Wow.
everything is there to build from.
I remember years ago building a house, and that was a very laborious thing, was
It
just
is.
trying to figure out. And it seemed like it was endless cycles back to the home improvement center.
It does.
You'd think you'd got everything, and then another wave would hit. But this really helps you get further faster. I really like
Yes.
that. What else
Really.
does someone they get? They get the bill of materials. They've got the material, the
Mhm.
package for everything that's needed to be able to dry in the structure. The bill of materials to take it to the next level. But how about how-to information? Do you guys have resources that are provided in the way of instructions or
We do.
sample videos, that kind of thing?
Um, when you order your kit, we will send you basically a tutorial
Okay.
of how to put the building together. So we'll email that over. And then we also on YouTube, we have a lot of information under Frame Up Now that will show actually of houses being erected and assembled and put together. So there is a lot of educational material. If you're new at it or not sure what to look at, you'll be able to find it.
Right on. So that is way good. People ask questions about engineering on buildings. I purchased something like this. What engineering comes with it, with engineering stamps and that sort of thing?
Okay, all our plans include an IBC stamp, which is the International Building Code stamp, which is good worldwide, and that covers all the structural components of the metal building itself.
Okay.
Okay. So they'll get that and they will need to take that to their local jurisdiction along with um, the ability to have a foundation drawn. So they'll probably have to have a draftsman or an architect draw a foundation plan, and they need an engineer on that too. I know that'll be up to the local jurisdiction to do that
Right.
one. But our plans can be incorporated with that and turned into the county or city jurisdiction with our stamp, and they should be able to get themselves a permit with that.
Love it. Love it. Seems like, again, anything you can do to get further faster with higher quality is a game changer. It's a positive. It's a big win. And so what you're telling me is really attractive as far as even if I'm a moderately skilled DIYer that's going to build portions of this is going to really help me do a job better and faster. And time is money, right? So the
It
faster I
is.
get things dried in, the less labor I'm spending on it, whether it's mine or one that's contracted. All of that is a positive. So this is cool stuff. Well, I'm going to ask you this: if you were going to look and say, what are some of the um, top reasons this approach beats traditional framing? What would you say there are? I mean, a lot of the stuff is pre-made, right?
It is.
So
The simplicity of putting that together without having to know all your framing measurements, unless you're a framer, you don't know all those little measurements and complexities that go into a wall when you're framing it.
right,
We've taken all that work out of it. It's
right.
easy. You can just
I
take
remember
those
the
things.
first time I framed up a wood wall and I kept putting components in were ultimately going to be there, but now they're in the way of where I was going to nail something
That's
sideways
correct.
or, you know,
That's correct.
all that stuff is taken care of. So on the fly.
That's right.
So people don't need to measure. They don't need to cut. The components are ready to go and ready to use and they're
That's right.
square and flat. And I've seen these tilt up. I mean, they're not. They're when I say they're not featherweight, but they're manageable by an average person of average
Very
strength of being
manageable.
able
They're
to
not
tilt them
near,
up.
yeah, not near as heavy as a wood panel. Yeah,
Right on. Love it. Love it. But boy, when they're all assembled, are they rigid and strong? That's great.
they are.
Um,
They are.
I've heard you allude to this whole building system like a grown-up kid something. What do you call it? The big boy something?
Well, we kind of call it an erector set. So it's big boys erector set.
Okay,
Uh,
got it. For
and it's very
those of
satisfying.
us who are old enough to remember erector
Yep,
sets, go ahead.
that's right. And it's very satisfying. You know, even as an unskilled person in the building industry, or to all the way to a skilled person, anybody can put it up, and it's very satisfying, especially as a DIYer, to be able to go in there and put this frame up and put the trusses on, and see this quality product when you're done with it, and say, "God, I
Right,
did that thing." You can show your friends and say, "Look what I built." It's a really impressive product.
right on. And you had a hand at it. You put it
That's
together.
right. That's
I
right.
love it. One of the things I remember years ago building a house, a wood framed house,
Hmm.
and I could see an advantage right off. And then the wet weather uh, season hit, and that framed house was sitting open
Hmm.
in the rain and puddles of water all over. We started having studs that started to twist out here and there, had to go through and cut some out, put new straight ones in and all that. That's eliminated, is it not,
It is.
in the steel
It's
frame
completely
system?
eliminated. Yeah, with this system, you know, you can put this frame up and you don't have to put your plywood on immediately if you're not ready to. You can let it sit, I don't know, however long you want. It's steel. It's not going to rust, it's galvanized. So until if you had to put it up in the summer and take the winter off and get through the winter, come back to it in spring, you could do that. There's not a problem
Oh,
with it. And
well,
then all of a
that
sudden
gives you
you're
some
ready to,
flexibility. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And then you can put your sheeting on and dry it in real quick and not have any of that water damage.
There you go. Invite all the friends over that you know you can trust with a skill saw and a
That's right.
screw gun and all that, and have a sheathing party, right?
That's right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
well, and I've seen these buildings go up, and something I really like is how perfect the corners are,
Hmm.
how straight everything is. When you put that along the sight lines, along the wall,
Hmm.
as long as the foundation's been flat and square and true, and we talked
Yes.
about that in another episode,
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. Something, as you just mentioned, too, something to be very, very proud of.
Yes,
So
definitely.
this is way cool. So, Brad, we've covered a lot of great territory on this. And if I had just watched this, I'd start getting enthused about, "Man, this is for me. And I need to take some next steps to explore this further." So, what are some of the ways that someone can explore this further with you guys? What are some next steps to take?
Go on to frameupnow.com, look at the kits, and see if there's something you like there. And if so, pursue it a little further. Give us a call, and we can walk you through the processes on that. But you can also look at assembly guides, or go to YouTube. Look at some of our YouTube videos on the actual erection of the buildings. It's all very informative.
Right on. Uh, I'm looking forward to it. I kind of feel like I have one more house left in me. And when I do that, it's going to be one of these. These are just incredible. And I've seen them gone together. And I've spent some time looking at those YouTube videos. I've had the
Mhm.
opportunity to be in your factory, see how everything's going together, and then in the field, seeing it all being put together. And I'm a convert. I think that it's really, and that's why we're doing these kind of videos. It isn't try to pitch product or to sell people on things. It's to inform them and give them great solutions, compressing the time it takes to get something done, getting a great product, making it a lot easier to do things.
Most definitely.
We Frame Up Now has greatly simplified the building process. So, guys,
Definitely.
if you're interested in this, take a look at frameupnow.com. Brad, do you have the phone number they can call also?
I do. It is 888-864-0184.
Say it one more time for the hard of hearing.
Okay, it is 888-864-0184.
And there you have it, you guys. Brad the Builder from Frame Up Now. Thank you for taking time on this today. You get in contact with them. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay of dirtfarmerjay.com and Brad Cooper of Frame Up Now. We'll see you in another episode.